worship the goddess. We worship the goddess to pull the damaged parts of ourselves into union, to melt our shattered hearts, to share a soul embrace on this brief and lonely journey. We worship the goddess because hundreds of thousands of our sisters, mothers, daughters, and lovers were burned alive for no other reason than for being who they were. We worship the goddess to atone for the countless unspeakable horrors that we as men have inflicted upon women throughout time. We worship the goddess because we recognize that in spite of our viciousness, in spite of our madness, we now make different choices. We worship the goddess because we must, because it is who we are and who we choose to be. Can we ever really and fully embody our manhood without women? We began this journey from our wounds, but her fire transforms us. Through this transformation, we become men. Her sacred and unflinching mirror sets us free. We worship the goddess because she is where we come from, because she is our mother, our daughter, and our beloved grandmother. She is this very earth that embraces our feet. It is she alone that gives life. We worship the goddess because we love her and because she can help us find our way home. What does it mean to worship the goddess? To worship the goddess is to enter divinity in human form, to feel silk penetrate us, to feel goodness permeate our cells. To worship the goddess is to honor trees and branches, limbs and flowers and roots, to stand in awe of stars and see her spanning across the heavens, to find goodness in a woman who is strong and fragile, to love her when she may not even love herself, to look for the best in her but still hold her accountable, To worship the goddess is to understand that a relationship is a garden that has two gardeners, but that it can perish if either fails to abide. To recognize that seeds planted often sprout, and that shit properly used creates flowers. To worship the goddess is to become a fish that had never known it was thirsty. To worship the goddess is to sacrifice our vanity for humility, to offer ourselves in service to a unique and dangerous process, to place ourselves on the brazier of love and pain, to be annealed and purified by that fire. To worship the goddess is to embrace her humanness and our own, to understand that her happiness is inexorably linked with ours. To worship the goddess is to wash her feet, to stroke her head, and to kiss her flower as if we were kissing her mouth. To worship the goddess is to adore her with our hands, to withhold our erotic gratification and transmute it in order to exalt both of our spirits. To worship the goddess is to be angry when we are bleeding and we see that she holds the knife. To worship the goddess is to hold her up when we are too weak to do so. To worship the goddess is to clutch her flesh as if we were hanging off her cliff and watch in horror as our fingers peel away. To worship the goddess is to look into her eyes and love her through the smoke of our rage, through our torrents of grief, and the dark poison shimmering of our mother's fears. To worship the goddess is to see her fragility as we hate her. To worship the goddess is to free her when we cannot be consoled, to pick ourselves up, wounded and shaking, slowly taking small, broken steps through our pain and toward our healing. To worship the goddess is to know that we can need her, but we can never own her. We offer our bone-racking ecstasy up on an altar of gold and tarnished dreams and bitter herbs. To worship the goddess is to take ourselves by the balls and go inside alone, to work through the dark, painful retching that drives us. To worship the goddess is to transform ourselves into something worthy of sacrifice. Into something worthy of sacrifice. To be strong when we don't want to be vulnerable when we don't want to be, but always keeping a candle burning inside for ourselves. It is said that only a god can truly worship a goddess. Yes, we are our own way home, but her mirror can illuminate our path. Thank you.